heart. And then keeping your thumb and pinkies together, let the rest of those fingers bloom open into lotus mudra, shape of a lotus flower at your heart. So just spread them nice and wide. And sit tall and comfortably. And let your eyes float closed if that feels comfortable. And in Yin Yoga, we hold our poses for a few minutes at a time. And this can fluctuate, can be a little shorter or a lot longer. So just be prepared to settle into every position we encounter tonight. And just start finding your breath. And the lotus flower really is symbolic and metaphoric to our human existence. Rooted down, having to deal with the murky waters, some dark times, and traversing through, making its way up to the light, where it can really shine, unfold, bloom, and thrive. And if you'd like to, in your mind, every time you inhale, can say I. And on every exhale, let go. And you can use the cup of your lotus flower, possibly even filling the exhale breaths coming from your nose or mouth. You can fill it up with what you don't need to hold on to in this moment, what's not serving you. And we'll add some movement on to our lotus mudra. So sitting comfortably and tall, you can feel slightly forward and back, left and right, shimmying just a little bit to really navigate your pelvic floor and just feel rooted there. Grow your roots deep into the earth. And when you inhale, reach your arms up overhead, keeping this lotus mudra shape. Thumbs and pinkies together. Reach up like you're letting go of all that stuff you filled up in your exhale breaths into that cup. And when you let the breath go, bring this cup, this lotus mudra, back to your heart. We'll do that about 4 more times on your own. Nice, slow, rhythmic breath. Inhale to reach and rise up to the top, reaching for the light where you bloom and grow. Every exhale, pulling it back down to the heart, maybe possibly filling it up with more thoughts in your mind, just things that aren't serving you. Just in a gesture of your own growth, where you've been, how far you've come, all the plans for the future, while allowing yourself to be here and now, present. One more time, reaching up. Then exhale, bring your hands back down to your heart. And release your hands to your thighs. Just take a moment to be still, settle in. Gently blinking your eyes open if they were fully closed. Bring your right palm, tented fingers behind your sacrum. Reach your left arm straight up to the sky. Take a breath in here. And on your exhale, twist over to the right and then anchor your arm to your thigh. Keep your chin in the direction of your heart, but you do have the option to deepen over towards the right shoulder. base of skull and tailbone stay in a line. Just reaching tall and opening up into that twist. Maybe you let your eyes flutter closed again. Breath by breath, finding a deeper twist. And breath by breath, growing taller still. And on your next inhale, slowly unwind, palms to your thighs, chin to your chest, be still. Re-blinking, open your eyes. Left palm is your base behind your sacrum. Reach your right arm up. Take a breath in here as you get tall with that grab. And exhale, twist to your left. Anchor your palm to your thigh. Keep that alignment of tail to crown and gently just twist open with every breath. Let yourself grow and bloom with the inhales and twist with the exhales. On your next breath in, slowly unwind, hands to your thighs. Close your eyes, chin to chest. Just breathe. And start to blink your eyes open and make your way to all fours, tabletop pose. Now this opportunity for cats and cows right here. So just soften your belly down as you arch your back, gently pulling the heart forward. Then rounding your back to the sky, chin into chest. And we'll just take a couple of cats, cows as a transitional piece today. So move with your breath, just feel soft. Take any sharp edges out of the spine as you undulate. Think of softening the edges through your whole practice, softening the edges right here in cats, cows. Nice, and about one more round, one more cycle. And from tabletop pose, we'll move on to Balasana, child's pose. Take your knees wide with big toes to touch. Now we're in Yin, so we hold our shapes a whole lot longer. If you'd like to place a bolster or a pillow under your heart for support, by all means you can do that. You can also double pad under your knees. Yin Yoga is about holding the postures longer. So when we come into this class with our vinyasa mentality, it can easily be distracting to stay and be present in the moment. So we just dive into our fascia, our ligaments, the tendons, by finding our working edge. Knowing where our body can find this sweet spot of a little bit of stress on our joints and tendons, but without going beyond, without tearing anything or injuring ourselves. So it's really up to you, the practitioner, to learn how to identify that in your practice. The sweet spot, the spot just beyond, with that gentle stress in this class and any of your yin classes. And being able to back out and pull away when it's too much, or if just the time becomes too long in each pose as a beginner. Getting ready to move on. Take a deep round of breath. And start to press into your palms. Make your way up with the torso and shimmy off to one hip if that's how it's comfortable for you. We'll find Paschimottanasana, supported forward bend. So we want to extend our legs in front of us. Now they can be in line with the hips, or they can actually be a little bit wider here for our yin purposes. And again, you can support yourself with a bolster or a set of blocks set up with a pillow. We want to keep the elongation of our spine as we fold down. And we're in each shape tonight about 3 to 5 minutes, so prepare to just find that comfortable spot and be. And just to further what I was saying about yin, as you begin to settle into this shape here, it's that gentle pressure, that gentle stress that gets applied to, say, your hips, or allows you to be more free and open in the hips, or free and open in the low back. It's by holding poses. That's where the true changes are made on our body. Fighting the ego, fighting the fidgeties, the shifting around. Maybe as you hold in this shape, you come back to the metaphor of the lotus flower. And how does that possibly compare to your human existence, to your experiences, to your story? It can be a lifelong journey. It can be a single instance in your day. Taking a last few deep rounds of breath here, releasing that low back. Not holding engagement on the hamstrings. It's not about the stretch. Starting to move on, press into your palms, walk your spine back upright. We're gonna shimmy off to either one of your hips. Tabletop pose is a nice place to meet again. Back to all fours. And we'll find our resting pigeon pose. So take your right knee and you can carry, lift, or just float it forward a bit to the outside of your right wrist. And then lower your shin on the mat. Start to lengthen your left leg back. So our resting pigeon pose, we're welcome to fold forward or stay upright. Any spots, since we hold so long, any spots like a hip or either side hip or thigh that aren't already comfortable on the ground, we don't want to fight and have to hold muscularly the whole time, so feel free to support with any props. Fill in those gaps so that you can feel successful in the holds. And let yourself lower down if that's comfortable, and we will be bringing awareness back to your breath, back to the room if you drifted somewhere else. Preparing to move on, palms lift away, press you upright. You can slowly tuck the back toes, bring your left knee forward and float or carry your right knee back. And you have the option from tabletop, you can extend your right leg, maybe toe in the ground, kind of pedal out, circle, lift the leg for some circulation back into that leg. So we go right into the other side. So when you're ready, float or carry your left knee over to your outer side of your left wrist and let the shin come down. And from there, start to untuck and walk your right leg straight out of your hip socket behind you to where you can get your hips to square off and be as close to the ground as is comfortable, and then support any space that's not to the ground. The hip lift under a pillow, perhaps under your torso. When you find this comfortable spot, lower down and we hold. I've heard in numerous yoga classes from numerous teachers that our hips are holding points for emotions. So I always like to bring a point to that so that we can have our own acknowledgement and awareness if anything arises for us. And I invite you to keep coming back to the inhale, I, exhale, let go in your mind. So I don't know if something heavy might be weighing on your mind or not, but the best thing we can do for ourselves is to just nourish ourselves. The best way to heal is to be there for your soul. Just a couple more rounds of breath here. Might be fun to acknowledge if one side was more comfortable than the other, if one side felt more natural than the other. Were you more at ease in one side than the other? One more round of breath. And then let your inhale start to glide you back up. And come into that tabletop pose again. And you can wiggle your left leg around, take it long behind you, whatever you might need, just bringing some circulation back into it. And when you're ready, friends, we'll make our way to our back. We're just gonna lie down flat to start. So props can be shimmied off, a block or a pillow within reaching distance though at all times. And I want you to plant your feet so you can untuck your low back, untuck your pelvis so that your low back can feel as flat as it can on the ground. Draw your right knee into your chest, finding a half happy baby pose, either capturing your thigh or your foot with either one or both hands. And your left leg, if you could, let it go long to rest on the ground. If you had a yoga strap and that was more comfortable for you to grab onto your foot, that is fine. You can use a towel or a belt rope or something else instead as well. We're just going to stay here for a moment, holding on to that foot. Your shoulders soften into the earth. Friends, supine twist or relaxed side twist. Take your left palm towards your right knee and start to shimmy your leg over to the left. Trying to stack our hips, and feel free to use a yoga block or a pillow underneath the right knee or thigh for support. We want to keep the shoulders in the ground. Your hands can be placed on your body, out to the sides. Whatever feels right. Just let the gravity that you're experiencing in your space weigh you down like a little blankie and just be. Pulling your awareness back into your center, to your heart, to your mind's eye. Start to shimmy back so we can plant both feet, hips in the ground, untuck your low back so you can pull your navel down, and then soften your belly because we don't want to engage our muscles. Draw your left knee up and find your half happy baby shape here. Just gonna basically use our arm to anchor our leg upright without actively pulling, without actively kicking. And then if possible, let your right leg relax long on the mat. Just be here for a moment. Sort of kickstanded in space with the arm and leg on the left side. Maybe your knees inching over to the side a little bit more, opening up in your hip. As we move on to our supported twist, take your right palm to your left outer knee or thigh and start to swing it over gently to the right. Support with a block or a pillow under that right thigh, left thigh rather, on the right side. Open up your arms, heart, shoulders grounded. Palms can stay on the body. If you got cold on the last side, that might be a nice indicator to pull a blankie or something across your torso, covering the vital organs, retaining your heat a little bit more as we settle in. Taking another round of breath, preparing yourself to move on, coming back to plant both of your feet. We want to gently lift up to a seat, only to come back down. So do what you need to rise up. As we finish off our last final shapes, we will be reclined. So we'll start with bound angle pose, but supported. So if you happen to have props, I highly recommend you bring them in. Supporting with the blocks or the pillow or the bolster along your spine. I like to make a T shape with the blocks on their medium setting. The first shape is going to be the long one in between the shoulder blades, really on the spine, and then the wide one will go to support under the skull. You could always also choose on top of that to throw on a bolster or a pillow. So make your way down. Get any adjustments out of the way so that you can be comfortably reclined. A blankie here might be nice. We want to bring the feet to touch, the knees wide. You also can support under your thighs with blocks or blankets or pillows. And again, just allowing gravity to take over, to do its work. And all you have to do is relax and breathe. Make sure you're not clenching your teeth together, that you're softening the edges, that you're allowing for some space. And staying right where you are, our final shape of class. Extend your legs long in front of you. Maybe take them wider than your hip. And just relax. If you need to adjust your back, the blocks, the bolsters, or if you want to lie flat for a Shavasana, go ahead and move. I just want to remind you that when the mind wanders or the body starts feeling too agitated, you're coming up against your ego, you want to get fidgety, just come back to your breath. Focus on the breath, riding in and out of your body, the depth, the quality, the length. Just begin pulling your awareness back to your body, back to your space around you. You may begin to find little tiny wiggles to the fingertips and to your toes. Wiggles to slowly wake up the body and shift the energy. And being very slow and cautious with your body. Start to support yourself however you need to land in a comfortable seat. Knowing we might have blocks on our spines, you might support yourself up with your hands. Maybe even remove all of your props and just lay down on the floor flat if you'd like to finish class there. I invite you to grab your blankies, snuggle up. And if you'd like to join me, bring your lotus mudra back to your heart. All of your fingertips press together to start, but keep the thumbs and little fingers together as you bloom open the other fingers wide, like a little chalice. And perhaps you dip your chin towards your chest, let your lids float closed. And just fill up with some breath, some thoughts, some intention into that lotus flower. We all have our stories. We've all been on such unique journeys. There are so many deep things about each one of us. There's way more than you could ever imagine. Honoring those journeys in yourselves and honoring those journeys in one another. For the next few rounds of breath, as you inhale, raise up your flower to the sky. Feed it with that light, that nutrition, sharing that energy, and then draw with your exhale back to your heart. In a gesture of loving kindness, reach up towards the sky and back to your heart. Sharing, receiving, giving all of this love and energy a couple more times. Breathe up and take it in. Inhale up last time. Exhale, pull to your heart. And close all your fingers together. Anjali Mudra. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing part of your journey here today. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. That time really went by quickly.